It was a quiet, chilly night when Zoya boarded the last train home. The station was eerily empty, and a low fog crept along the platform, muffling the sound of her hurried footsteps. She clutched her bag tightly and stepped onto the train, relieved to escape the cold. The train was spotless but unsettlingly empty. Not a single passenger in sight. Even stranger, the air inside was unnervingly warm, as if it had been waiting just for her. She sat near the door, her reflection faintly visible in the dark window. The train began to move, its hum filling the silence. Zoya glanced around, her unease growing. A flickering light caught her attention at the far end of the car. She squinted, thinking she saw someone standing in the shadows, but when she blinked, the figure was gone. "Must be tired," she muttered to herself. A sudden announcement broke the silence, but the voice was distorted, static-filled, and impossible to understand. The train slowed as it reached the next station, and Zoya's heart sank when she saw that it too was empty. The doors opened with a hiss, and for a moment Zoya thought she heard faint whispers drifting in from the platform. She froze, straining to listen. The whispers grew louder, urgent and overlapping, like 1,000 voices speaking at once. "Who's there?" she called out, her voice shaking. The doors slammed shut, and the train lurched forward. The whispers stopped abruptly, replaced by an oppressive silence. But something was different now. She wasn't alone. Zoya turned slowly, her breath catching in her throat. There, at the far end of the car, stood a figure cloaked in shadow. Its head was tilted at an unnatural angle, and its eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. "Why are you here?" the figure asked, its voice echoing unnaturally, as though it came from all directions at once. Zoya tried to respond, but no sound came out. Her heart pounded as the figure began to move toward her, its footsteps silent despite the creaking of the train. She stood and backed away, but there was nowhere to go. The train was still moving, the next station nowhere in sight. "Get off!" the figure hissed, its voice dripping with malice. Without thinking, Zoya turned and slammed her hand against the emergency stop button. The train screeched to a halt, throwing her to the floor. When she looked up, the figure was gone. The doors opened, revealing a dark, unfamiliar tunnel. A single sign on the wall read, "End of the line." Zoya stepped out, her legs trembling. The train doors closed behind her and sped off into the darkness, leaving her alone. But she wasn't alone for long. The whispers returned, louder and closer, surrounding her in the pitch-black tunnel. And then she saw them, dozens of glowing eyes, staring at her from the shadows. Zoya realized too late that she had left the train, but she hadn't escaped.